welcome. Welcome to Chesterfield County and our fiscal year 19 budget update. This process started many months ago, in fact years ago as part of our long-term financial planning, but many months ago with you, the people, in many community meetings, both school and county officials, budget staff, county leadership, all working together with you to define what is important to you and what is quite frankly the role of government in meeting those needs. We took that information, worked with our departments, worked with nonprofit organizations, and tried to leverage the time and talents, quite frankly, of others outside of government to try and see how best those needs could be addressed. We are a changing community. Demographics point to the aging population. I believe that 1/3 of our population in the next few years may be actually over the age of 55. We are no longer just a community where people have come to raise their kids in a good school system, and the bedroom community where they then travel outside for work. We're becoming empty nesters on both sides of the spectrum. 2/3 of our households right now do not have school-age children. We have many young professionals who are starting their careers, many of whom graduated from our own high schools, which is a great sense of family, great sense of roots in our community. We also have those that just want to age in place. They've enjoyed Chesterfield County and all that it's offered during their lifetime here, and they want to stay here. That's where their friends are. That's where their faith-based institutions are. That's where we are for them. So having said that, we have to pay attention to all of these types of people. And that includes, again, many people we may not see every day, those that are low income, those that are disabled. You put all that together, and that's what part of a budget process is. One of the things we focused on and started this last year was a new department within our existing resources called Citizen Information and Resources. It's really a consolidated effort of many of our services under one roof. It starts with the Senior Advocate Program. Again, paying attention to these older adults and what they need, but not just what they need, but what they can also provide in the form of helping us. They have time and talent. We want to deploy that through some volunteerism spirit. We want that volunteerism spirit also rooted in this department for all citizens to be able to feel like we can help facilitate. If they have a need and a desire to serve, we should know where those nonprofits are, where those needs are in the community, and let us get out of the way and put you in the position of helping neighbor, helping community. That way government doesn't necessarily have to fill the void of everything. We need to be mindful for the precious tax dollars we have and deploy them in the institutions that are most important to us and we believe most important to you. Core services, public safety in schools, that's where our precious existing dollars and new dollars are most focused towards. Schools, of course, being the largest share. We worked with James Lane, the school board, and many of their leadership in trying to implement as many of their high priority projects as possible. They have over 600 new students coming. First and foremost, maintain that student-pupil teacher ratio. We heard and they heard that the schools, the custodial outsourced contract was not a contract that was working. So we put the monies and attention into having an in-house daytime porter program for their schools to keep them clean and have a contracted night service contract. We believe the schools are trying to address that need. School start times was a major school initiative. And again, the budget has positioned the funding sources and the new buses, the new bus drivers to help accommodate such program. The programs and initiatives and the ways that the schools want to position all students for success in careers in life have been funded as well. You know, of course there are always more things to do, more things to fund, more requests, but again, we have to balance a budget. We are not like the federal government. We have to, under state law, propose a balanced budget. We also have to be mindful of those that are paying that budget, and that is you, the taxpayer, primarily through the real property tax rate. It's one of the few tools that we have, and we recognize that the economy has come back. Your home values have increased, and what we're trying to do is implement a new tool each and every year over our 5-year plan that if and when such values are increasing higher than an inflationary type rate, we will try and lower the tax rate so that the average tax bill is not necessarily growing too high. We're also trying to pay attention to our tax relief programs for those that are elderly and disabled. Those finite incomes, cannot be further spread amongst a higher tax bill and for you as homeowners to make some tough choices. Part of the low income focus that we have in our budget is social services and community enhancement. Community enhancement was a new department created last year. That focus is paying attention to our older and aged communities, those that tend to maybe have other issues associated with them, infrastructure, housing, job opportunities, the type of retail that those people may need and want closer to them, transportation constraints. All of those issues are a focus of community enhancement. A good example of that is our Jefferson Davis Special Area Plan. With that plan and with working with the community, nonprofit associations like the Jefferson Davis Business Association and the many citizen groups that are in that area, and quite frankly, nonprofits and foundations across the region, to focus on how to take what is there already and make it better. Make it better for the people that live there, make it better for the people that want to work there, make it better for the people that want to shop there. Again, our role as government is to provide the time and talents that we have and the abilities to work with the private sector, nonprofit sector, the people into making it better. We have to pay attention to all the populations in these older aged communities. The transportation issues of these people also have been mentioned quite frequently in many media. Well, we're trying to talk to them, have them define where they need to go, when they need to go to it. Many of them prefer Uber-like type transportation networks, door-to-door pickup with an appointment based, so that they can get to their job, to get to their doctor, to get to food, other types of goods and necessities that they need that may not be on the routes of traditional fixed-base transportation, public transportation networks. Again, we're listening to them. We are piloting programs. We are trying. Our best customer is the one that's going to be using our service. That's the citizen we're trying to work with and trying to listen to. We're investing some more monies into the program, but quite frankly, we're trying to leverage the existing monies and millions of dollars that we spend already into how best to serve those communities. Social services. One of the things that I like to see is that social services help those that are able-bodied people to get off the client role and back into their job opportunities. It's nothing more important than anybody to feel like they're providing for their household. And these able-bodied people should not be on our client list that long. They do not want to be that way. Now, our social services will always be serving people for the long term that are elderly and disabled. But having said that, able-bodied is a new focus of social services, and they're focusing resources, again, not just to have people fill out forms, but to have the counseling sessions and the job opportunities in front of them so that they can start or restart their career. For public safety, again, to feel safe and secure as a citizen is probably an inherent right that you should have, no matter where you are in the United States. We have one of the most safe and secure localities, but again, we cannot just rest on those laurels. Times are changing, environments are changing. So to recruit and retain the best people in a public safety environment, this includes police, sheriff, fire, and EMS. We want to make sure that our starting salaries are competitive. We want to make sure that the career development programs that exist ensure that someone wants to stay here with their entire career. We want to give them the technology tools, the vehicles, the equipment to enable them to do their job, to serve you, and to ensure that, again, this safe and secure environment that exists today will exist tomorrow and the day after that. Another aspect of an aged community, quite frankly, is the aged schools that are within those communities. As you may know, that we are focused on initially renovating those schools. We talk to our schools, talk to many professionals, talk to the parents of the children in those areas. And the schools, together with the county, have invested the additional funds to pivot from a renovation mode of an existing school and the challenges of renovating an existing school to putting all those efforts into creating new schools in those areas. So over the next few years, you're going to see many new schools arise in these revitalization areas. Enon, Beulah are two examples of schools under construction. Many more are to come. Talking about different aspects of our community, the young professionals that are all moving in here is helping us attract the jobs that go with them. Many of these young professionals do not want to travel far to work. Many of them are using the technologies of telecommuting, teleworking, and other manners to try and shorten their commutes and enjoy their quality of life. We respect that. We have far too long been an exporter of talent. Over 40,000 people net wake up every day and drive outside Chesterfield County to work. We recognize more and more that those shorter commutes that people want instill an ability in us to help recruit and retain additional jobs, jobs of interest to those that are living here already to get. Hopefully those jobs will be there as well for their children and their children's children as we grow roots between intergenerations. I'd like to also talk about the opioid epidemic, a national trend that is just hitting every locality regardless of its socioeconomic status. Chesterfield County is not immune to this. Our region is not immune to it. What makes us different, though, we are locally working amongst all of our expert departments, and we are working together as a region on many facets. There are mental health support services, public safety services, judicial services, legal services, medical services. All of those services have to work hand in hand to solve various attributes of this problem. We're investing additional funds into our sheriff's office, police, and mental health support services to focus on not just prevention, but also treatment. For those that are addicted, it's a lifelong issue that's facing them, and they need a lifelong attention and support network for them. We want to create those networks. Peer-to-peer counseling programs appear to be the most productive in helping somebody throughout their life. All we can do as a government is hopefully match those peers to other peers so that they can help each other out. We are not necessarily going to eliminate this problem, but what Chesterfield County will be doing is we're going to feel it and we're going to sense it, we're going to stall it, and then hopefully this epidemic will slowly retreat from Chesterfield. If we can be the example for others to follow, that would be great, because again, this nationwide issue has to be faced and it has to start locally. Partnerships. I like to talk about regional and local partnerships. Just recently, we opened up Richmond Volleyball Club. It's a 50,000 square foot facility for Richmond Volleyball Club that they wouldn't otherwise be able to build without our partnership. What we needed in Chesterfield County was a place for senior programs to occur. We could not build a 50,000 square foot facility. Both of us together are working and built a 50,000 square foot facility for which the Parks and Recreation Program senior programs have 5,000 square feet of dedicated space and access to the entire facility during the day for their programs to serve their clients and people, citizens of Chesterfield County. Richmond Volleyball Club serves as a regional draw, sometimes national draw during tournaments for its use on nights and weekends. Together, that partnership can only help out the local economy, but more importantly, help out the local seniors and other citizens that can avail themselves to such programs. Another good partnership that's going to be in next year is Camp Baker. I was able to work with my regional peers in helping provide the local support for a multi-purpose center at Camp Baker. This is a small but quiet gem in Chesterfield County. It's where mental health disabled adults go during the day, sometimes for a week-long program, sometimes for a weekend-long program. If anything, they're providing the respite for their caretakers, mostly their parents, many of them who are aging parents, so that they can have peace of mind to enjoy a weekend off once a year, perhaps a week off for a year, knowing that their child is safe with us. A parent-child relationship never ends, and it especially never ends for those that are caring for a disabled child. Another partnership that we're working with is the Healing Place. While that will be located in the city of Richmond, just to the north of us on Route 1, it's a regional effort for those women in times of crisis to go to feel safe and secure, to be better positioned for themselves, with their children, to get back into the community, into a safe place. There's nothing that's needed more to make sure that a woman cannot feel like she is threatened in her home place. So to know that there's a respite area that she can go to, for which again the local governments are a partner in this, I think provides that level of comfort of showing that we care about our citizens. While much media attention during our budget process was focused on the Commonwealth Attorney and his needs, I just want to let you know we have been meeting with him and his senior staff, with our Board of Supervisors, and many others in trying to define what is the role of the State Compensation Board in funding its responsibilities to Chesterfield County. The Commonwealth Attorney has indicated, and we concur, that he has the highest need in 8 positions underneath the state formula that the state has created than any other locality in the state of Virginia. In fact, the next nearest locality needs 4 positions under the same formula. Nobody in the state, any locality, should be the worst of any formula. It should be an equitable formula. If there are budget constraints of the state, we should all share equitably. I commend the Commonwealth Attorney for bringing this issue to the forefront, and I also credit other public safety and judicial administration of Chesterfield County. That's our Sheriff's Office, our Clerk of the Circuit Court, as they are also underfunded, maybe not to the same degree. And I also give credit to the Compensation Board itself. We are actually going to be meeting with them and their senior leadership in May, with our Commonwealth Attorney, Sheriff, and Clerk of the Circuit Court, and Board Chair side by side as we try and explain our case to them and bring a new sense of reality, what it's like to be on the local front lines that we serve. We look forward to such discussions. We don't have illusions of grandeur that we think we're going to get 8 positions from the state, but we're going to define it and not give up on this definition. In the interim, though, we are going to be putting local funds towards his office as a placeholder in anticipation of such positions, but also to deploy those local funds so that he can provide the services to you, the citizens, and the support that's needed in prosecuting cases. Another new thing in our budget, as far as a full year of funding that was started this year, is our Child Advocacy Center. It just opened up in March, and we, in the past, had to take a child on its darkest day to a place that was far away from here to do an investigation, or perform the investigation in a police-type setting. Children do not testify well, do not share information well when they've been traumatized like that. They need a comforting setting, almost a home-like setting, to provide details to investigators so that we can best prosecute those that have harmed such children. We now have such place close to here. It's designed to provide that comfort for a child of all ages, different rooms to cater to different types of children. And we hope not only will it give us the information to help us prosecute better, but also, again, to make that child feel less traumatized, which, again, if they are traumatized, that's a lifelong affliction that they may have. Transportation. Chesterfield County, going back 100 years, has had a transportation issue. I've seen stories written in the newspaper talking about the problems with our horses and getting stuck on roads in Chesterfield County. So Chesterfield and transportation have always had a challenge. What are we trying to do today, 100 years later? Well, we're positioning our vehicle license fees, one of the first in the state, to be 100% dedicated into road infrastructure. We're trying to position developers to construct road improvements at the beginning of a subdivision, as opposed to putting monies aside for which we then tear up the adjoining roads after the subdivision is complete. We're working with state officials and federal officials and anyone else possible to leverage all those dollars to ensure that the road networks that you drive every day are sufficient for your needs. We're also mindful of the need for sidewalks and trails, and again, deploying those where they need to be. Hopefully, all of these things can make for smoother networks. We're working with technology and creating smart streetlight programs where sensors can better tell when the traffic is coming and where it's going and adjust the lights so that, again, you, with many of your fellow travelers going in the same directions, can get there faster. As a county administrator, one of the responsibilities I have is presenting a proposed balanced budget to the Board of Supervisors. We did our duty, but our duty would not have been complete without having you, the people, help in that process. We listened, we learned, board members were there, school board members were there, leadership of both the schools and the counties were there. We put those ideas that you had in place and hopefully put them into the fiscal year 19 budget. We have also taken those ideas that may not be easy to fit in 1 year and tried to deploy them over our next 5-year process. We will continue to do so. I want to especially thank Matt Harris, as a Deputy County Administrator now, who started this process as our Budget Director. I also want to thank Megan Coates, who started as the number 2 in budget and ended as the Budget Director. The confidence that we have as leadership, the confidence that the Board of Supervisors has in these 2 individuals and the team that's behind them have made this budget, and past budgets, quite frankly, a community-based process. Their leadership now and their higher leadership roles will help ensure that such processes going forth are even better. Again, thank you for your time and attention to Chesterfield County. Please think of ways in which you can help volunteer, can help serve a neighbor, and if we can be part of that conversation, let us know, because we have many ideas for how you can become more engaged with your community. Thank you.